Jai Hind everyone. Today I am going to start a new topic in PPS, that is structures. So as you all know that when we talk about the memory allocation in C, we required various data types. So structures basically is a data type in C which is user defined. So let's see what we are going to discuss today. We will discuss a structure definition, then how to initialize a structure, then how to access various members of a structure, and another data type, that is type def. So what are structures? Structures are collection of heterogeneous data types. Means whenever we are talking about arrays are the collection of homogeneous data types. Means you can create a list of similar data types while using array. But in real time scenario, it is not always the scene that we have to create a similar data type list. We have to create a list which has multiple types of data present within it. So structures are responsible for creating such kind of list. So basically we can say collection of related variables under one name which can contain variables of different data types is a structure. In if we talk about the example, then we can say that structure will create a table like a structure which stores various columns in it. So it is combined with pointers and can create linked list, stack, queues and trees. So this is the syntax of structure, that is we use struct keyword, after that tag, that is the name of the structure. This is totally optional. It is not compulsory to write the tag name if you are using a single structure within your program. And within the body of a structure, you can write various variables of different data types. And finally, definition is terminated by a semicolon. For example, if I am taking a structure named as a student, now what are its various fields? First field is roll, which is of integer type. Second is age, which is of int type. And third one is the name, which is of char type. So this is basically the array which is being included within the structure definition. So how to declare various variables which are being assigned, being declared within the structure definition. So you can write structure name and variable name. Example, struct student S. In the previous slide, we created a structure named as a student. So S is a variable of type structure. And what it will do, as soon as you declare or you write this statement, a memory structure like this will be created where S will represent how many bytes? These number of bytes within the memory, where first block will be of roll number, and it is represented, or each and every field of a structure is called with the help of dot operator. So you can write s dot roll for using the roll field, s dot age for using the age field, s dot name for writing the name of the student, and s name is the array. So as we are doing in the array, that is s dot name 0, name 1, name 2, name 3. In the similar fashion, we will name all the cells. Next, for example, in another example, I have taken a structure named as book. Now, what can be the fields of the book? Its name, price, number of pages, right? Now, how to declare or declare variables of this structure as book? One method we saw in the previous slide, that is this. After creating a structure, after defining the structure, we are writing a statement struct student S. Second method of declaring the structure type variable is along with the definition, as when we are closing the curly brackets, we are writing various variables. And all these variables are having data type book. Okay. So, second method is char name, price, pages, and we are writing this statement separately outside the definition of structure. And third, we are writing this book structure without any tag name. So here you can see three different methods to create a structure named as book with same fields and same variables, but there are three different methods. First one, where you are using struct keyword along with the tag name, and variables are declared within the definition only outside curly brackets. Second is the struct without tag name, because I told you in the first slide that tag name is optional. So you can skip this tag name. Now the fields are same and variables are same. And third is you are declaring a structure and declaring the variables outside the definition after closing the structure body, after terminating the structure body. So all these three methods will work and will create a same structure or user defined data type, that is book, with variables B1, B2 and B3, and with fields name, price, pages. Okay. Next, how to access the structure members. As I told you in the previous example also, that with the help of dot operator we access all the fields which are being mentioned within the structure body. So roll, age and name, these three fields are defined within the struct student. So it is written s.roll, s.age, s.name. As s.roll is of type integer, we can initialize it with an integer number. Next, s.age is again of type integer, we can initialize it with an integer number. Next, s.name, name is a character type array, so we can initialize it with a string. So here it is written s.roll, it is 3, s.age, it is 18, and s.name, we have Ram. As this is the string, compiler will automatically insert a null character at the end of string. Now, how to initialize? Some more methods are there to initialize the variables. First method we saw is this. In this way, you can initialize the variables of the structure. Second method is struct student s equal to, within curly brackets, you can write three different values. But the sequence of values must be same as of the variables declared within the structure body. That is, first one is roll, second one is age, and third one is name. The sequence must be same. Next, we can now see that how to take input from the user side. So with the help of this program, we are going to discuss that. So for that, first of all, we have included our header file stdio.h. Next, struct student. This is what, this is the structure created by the user. Means this is the student which will work as the user defined data type for this particular program. So here struct student, roll, age, name and terminated. Definition is terminated. After that, within main, we have declared one variable s whose data type is student. So it is written struct student s. Now we have to take input from the user. So for taking input from the user, we always use scanf function. So for that, it is written scanf. As three fields are int, and char. So what we have written, %d, %d and %s. That is the format specifier for these three. And s.roll. See, whenever we want to access the variables declared within the structure, we have to use the dot operator. So s is the variable, dot operator and then the field name. So s.roll. Next is s.age and last is s.name. Now in the similar fashion, we will print the data. So printf, roll number, age and name. So s.roll, s.age and s.name. The thing which we have to memorize, which we have to remember is that whenever we want to access any of the fields of the structure, we have to use variable followed by dot operator. Without using dot operator, we cannot access any of the field of the structure. Next, how can we calculate the size of the user defined data type which is being defined using a structure? As we all know that if I am saying, we are talking about the static memory, if I am saying int, you very confidently say that int occupies 4 bytes in memory, float occupies 4 bytes in memory, char occupies 1 byte in memory. So how many bytes does this structure occupy within your program? Okay, so the size of a structure can be calculated using size of operator. So size of a structure is basically the sum of all the fields available within the structure body, minimum size. Okay, for example, if I am taking this structure char int, in this I am having 3 fields, char c1, char c2 and int I. So char occupies how many bytes? 1 byte. Char occupies again 1 byte, and int occupies how many bytes? 4 bytes. So total how many bytes? 6 bytes. But sometimes compiler allows alignment padding within the various, or you can say different data types declared within the structure body. Means you are having 2 data types, 2 variables of same data type, that is char, and one is of int. So compiler will create some space that is known as padding between these 2 different data types. So char and int data is separated with this space. Now this space is basically dependent on the compiler, processor and compiler specific. So generally it is of 1 byte or 2 bytes. So based upon this, the size may change. So we can manually calculate the minimum size allocated in memory by structure by adding all the bytes of the declared variables, but maximum size can be calculated with the help of size of operator. Next, we have array of structures. Till we have created a data type array within the structure definition. Now the topic is array of structure. Means we are creating an array whose data type is structure. Okay, so here I have taken the book example. Within book I am having name, price and pages as various variables, and struct book B100. See, B100 is what? It is an array and whose data type is structure. This is the meaning of array of structure. Okay, means creating an array whose data type is structure. So how to take input within this? It will normally work as your array only. So for this, we will create a loop for I equal to 99 and then enter name, price and pages. And for entering name, price and pages, what we have to do? We have to use dot operator. So what we will write? Name, price and %C, %F and %T. Address of BI dot name, address of BI dot price, address of BI dot pages. Simply, जैसे we work on arrays, similarly we will work with this structure. And in the similar fashion, we will print the data. That is array of structure. Next, there are various additional features of a structure, that is a structure and assignment operator. The value of a structure variable can be assigned to another structure variable of the same type using assignment operator. For example, if I am writing a structure employee, here I am having a field name 10, age and salary. So in this one variable E1 is created, E2 and E3 is created. E1 is initialized by value Sanjay 30 and 5500.50. That is name, age and salary. Okay. Next, a string copy e2 dot name comma e1 dot name. What it will do? It will copy the content of name field of e1 to e2. As first name is a string, we have to use a string copy command. Second, e2 dot age is equals to e1 dot age. What it will do? It will assign the value of age to the age of e2. And similarly, salary will be assigned to salary of e2. Now, how to copy all the elements at once? We will simply write e3 is equals to e2. What it will do? It will transfer all three fields at once. So, there are two methods to copy content or to assign value of one variable to another, that is one by one along with the field, and second is directly, which will transfer all the fields at one go, that is e3 is equals to e2. Okay, after that we can print each and every element, and e1 dot name, e2 dot name, e3 dot name all will give similar results because we have copied the content. Next, we have nested structure. Means we can create a structure within another structure, or simply we can declare a variable, declare a field which is of structure type. Okay. So for example, I have taken here struct address. This is one structure. Some fields are given, phone, city and pin. Next, another structure is being created, that is employee. And within this, one field name is given and another field is what? Struct address A. A is a variable whose data type is structure. Which is structure? Address. So this is nesting. You are creating a field within different structure. Okay, that is nesting of structure. Now, how to access this particular field A? Struct employee E. E is a variable of type employee. Here it is written Jeru 53104 Nagpur and 10. Means you have to use or define all the variables along with the address field. First one is the name, second one is the phone, third one is the city and fourth one is the pin. Now, how to access the address field using variable E? You will simply write E dot A dot city, because A is what? Variable whose data type is address. And address, if you want to print the phone number, what you will write? Phone, A dot phone. Okay, but this A dot phone is called within employee and variable of employee is E. So what you will write? E dot employee. So E dot A dot phone. This is going to be the accessing part for the variable phone, like this as written here. Okay. Next, we have typedef operator. Now, what is typedef? Typedef operator is again a user defined data type which shortens the name of the data types created by user. As for example, if I am saying I have created a structure address or a struct employee. Now, whenever I want to create a variable of employee or address, what I have to write? I have to write complete statement as struct employee E. So, if I talk about the name of the data type, it is quite long. I have to write struct keyword, then tag name, and after that the variable name. Okay, so it is making the data type name lengthy. Okay, so what can I do? I can use typedef. What typedef does? It creates shorter names for the data types generally created by the user, because whatever data types which are being defined by the system are very much short. As you know, we have system defined data types as int, char, float. Okay, so these are already short. But when I am talking about the user defined data type, user can give any name to the data type. For example, he is writing struct student. He is writing struct employee. Okay, he is writing struct city, struct animals, struct plants. So this data type size is becoming variant. It is becoming sometimes quite long and sometimes very much short. So we can use a type def which creates aliases for the defined data type. Aliases means another name for the existing names. Okay. So type def allows us to associate a name with a structure or other data type. But it is not the case we use type def with the structure only. We can implement type def with primitive data types also. Okay. Now let's see the syntax, how to use this. So we are writing type def struct line, and here it is written line. Okay, so type def struct line int x1 y1 int x2 y2, and after brackets it is written line. So whenever we want to use data type line, one method when we are not writing this type def is what? We will declare a variable line1 as struct line1. This is the one method. This method we are following till now. Second approach when we are using type def is to shorten this. So what we have written, we have defined an alias name to this struct line as line in capital. So for declaring same variable line1, what will I write? I will write line in capital line1. Okay, so this much part is now shortened to this much. That is the advantage of type def. Okay. Now next example, I am creating a variable struct employee. This is user defined data type. So whenever I want to create a variable, one method was I am directly using type def here when I am declaring a structure. Another method is I am first of all creating a structure. After that, I am writing type def employee m. This will also work in the same manner as this. Okay. So here also I have created a alias name for employee as m. So what will I write? I will write now m e instead of writing this. Okay. So this is the original length of data type which is being created by user, and this is the shortened form of the data type created by user using type def data type. So what is type def doing? Type def is reducing, or you can say shortening the length of the user defined data type, or simply you can say it is creating an alias for the existing data type. For example, it is said that in C, this is int. It is a reserved keyword, and whenever we want to declare a variable of type integer, I can write int a. But sometimes a programmer does some R&D, and what he does, he performs I in capital or N in capital. So for that, what can I do? I can simply write type def int capital I, capital N, capital T. So from now onwards, if I write int a, this statement will also become correct, and it is exactly equivalent to the this statement. Okay, but it is not the case that I have to every time use this capital INT in the program. I can use small int also, but I can use capital INT also. It is just like that ki you are having two different names. One is your official name and one is your nickname, and you are recognized by both. Your family calls you by both names. So this is the similar way we are doing with the programming, that we are creating an alias name for the existing data type. Either that data type is user defined data type or some primitive data type. So I hope the concept of type def is clear. So we just have a quick look what we have studied today. So first we have studied the various structures. What are structures? Structures are basically what? Collection of heterogeneous data types. Okay, in arrays we are having the property of storing similar data types, but in a structure we can store multiple data types within a single name. Okay, so for example, we have taken here two fields of integer and one field of string. Second one property of a structure is that we cannot initialize any of the fields within the structure definition. Okay, next we discussed about the size of a structure. Minimum size can be calculated by adding the various fields of the structure present within the structure definition, and maximum size can be calculated with the help of size of operator. Next we discussed type def operator, which means creating a new name for the existing data types. So I hope concept is clear. See you in the next lecture.